This video does not endorse, promote, or glorify any form of illegal or harmful activity. Hey guys, young Psychonaut here, back at it again with another tier list video, and thank you guys so much for the recent subs, likes, comments, everything. The members are on screen now. Thank you guys so much for the support. It means so much to me. If you want to become a member, you can press the join button. You can buy me a coffee in the description. Anything helps out. Let's get into the video of today. So today I have another tier list for you guys, and this is probably going to be a pretty controversial one. It's going to be like the top reason why you should not try a substance, or like the top reason why you probably don't want to try a specific substance. So here we have all the different things why you should probably not try a substance. Either it's too addictive, it has neurotoxicity or bodily harm, it is mentally harming, societal problems you can get from them, it's too expensive, or you can get into legal trouble. And obviously many of these substances fit in multiple categories of this, and some substances don't really fit too well in any category, but I'm just gonna take like the top reason from my perspective. Obviously you can have different reasons. Maybe in your country drugs are extremely illegal, and basically all of this would get you into legal trouble. But I'm just talking a little bit more about my general audience in this case. And yeah, again, like some of these I want to place in multiple categories, but I'm just going to pick the most, like the category that it fits the most in, I would say, personally. But yeah. Maybe I forgot a category here, but let's just get started. Oh yeah, by the way, I also introduced DCK here. I talked about it in the last video. I totally forgot that I tried it, but it was just like something that I didn't find very interesting, so that's why I never put it on the list. But yeah, here it is. Okay, well, I think a lot of these like for example, a lot of the psychedelics, they are, I think, for example, for HOMET, I think the biggest problem you'll have with this is mental harm. And I think that goes for almost all these psychedelics, is like they are not very addictive. They're basically negatively addictive. Like I tried to do a bunch of psychedelics last week, and at a certain point they just didn't work anymore. So it's almost impossible to get addicted to them because they just won't work anymore. Neurotoxicity, no. Social problems, not really for me. It's not really expensive too. Like you don't do it too often, so it's not that expensive in general, and you won't get in legal trouble because it's legal in the Netherlands. So I would say for this kind of psychedelic, the largest reason why you should not try it is mental harm. Is there a large chance of mental harm? In my opinion, no, if you do it correctly, but it is still like the highest reason basically. Okay, I would say Benadryl. This could either be one of these two. I have never taken high dose of Benadryl, but I know that high dose of Benadryl can be pretty taxing on the body. There's even been links found with Alzheimer and taking a lot of Benadryl in your life. So I would say bodily harm probably, but yeah, I mean, you are going into a delirium if you take high dose of Benadryl, and that can have pretty detrimental effects on your mental state. So I would say high doses of Benadryl probably going to be mental harm too. Okay, fentanyl. I think it's going to either to be social problems. I'm not talking about like taking fentanyl in the hospital. I only have ever had fentanyl in the hospital administered by a professional for medical reasons. So I've never tried fentanyl myself, but we're just talking about like really doing street fentanyl now, like smoking or injecting fentanyl. And in that case, it's probably going to be either social problems or too addictive, or you can overdose on fentanyl, but it's not really about neurotoxicity. It's just it will stop your breathing and your heart rate. So I would say it's probably just too addictive. Yeah, that will be, I think, the main reason. And that addiction will ultimately probably lead to you overdosing. Because I don't think fentanyl, especially like I got it in the hospital once, I don't think it is that bodily harming. But it does change your brain circuitry pretty quickly into being extremely addictive. So it could be either one of these three categories, but I'm just gonna put it in too addictive for now. Okay, let's get something fun out of the way. DXM. You would think that I'll be very mild with this one, but I'll probably put it here. Because because there is just the fact that high doses of DXM are pretty bad for your body. Like, I don't deny that at all. That's also why I don't take high doses of DXM. But like low doses of DXM in this whole thing, I would probably say basically nothing, maybe too expensive. But when we're talking about taking high doses of DXM, like a lot of people like approach DXM for the first time, it is pretty, I would say it's pretty bad for your body. And I'm really readily admitting that because, yeah, I just don't. That's the reason why I don't do high doses. Okay, alcohol. Ooh, this one is actually really interesting because a lot of societal problems come through alcohol. But I think before societal problems occur with alcohol, it's gonna be really just harmful for your body. Like, yeah, it's pretty addictive, but I also know a lot of people who don't drink to the point of addiction, but do still have like really bad bodily harm because of alcohol, because they themselves say, I feel so bad because of this hangover. Yes, that's because you're poisoning your body. And when your body has been poisoned, it's probably like not very good for you. And of course, this is very unnuanced way. I know alcohol is way more nuanced than that, but in a general sense, it is wreaking havoc on your body, and that's why you're feeling bad. So I would say probably bodily harm and neurotoxicity very high on the list with alcohol. Okay, I would say the benzos either are going into social problems or too addictive. They don't have much bodily harm. Mental harm definitely, but that comes later when you're like already addicted. This is more about like trying a substance for the first time and why you wouldn't probably want to do that. Like the best reason not to try a substance for the first time. And in this case, I would say it's just too addictive. Like social problems, that will come all that comes all later when you're already into a benzo binge. Most times the first time you take a benzo, it's not really like teleporting to jail or anything like that. It's probably just going to be extremely addictive for many people. I know people that are not into benzos and it's not addictive for them. Kudos to you, that's really amazing. I hope that stays that way, but for most people, these things can be extremely addictive, and that's the reason why you should probably not try them. Clonazepam can be in the same category. Atizolem, also extremely addictive. I think this one is even more addictive because it has so much more like euphoria, especially physical euphoria. Like on alprazolam, I just basically go to sleep, but on atizolam, if you like stay awake, it is the insane euphoria, and that's not like a good thing. That makes it so addictive. So yeah, don't try these. I would definitely not advise trying these because the chance of getting addicted is just extremely high. Okay, 3-MMC, I would say neurotoxicity. Yeah, it could also be too addictive, but I've known a few people that, like myself, who have tried 3-MMC a few times and just were like, yeah, I'm not going to do this because this is just so bad for my body. You can feel it instantly with 3-MMC, like especially like after you're coming down. You just feel so dopamine depleted. You know it's neurotoxic because you feel your brain just zapping or like having headaches or whatever. And if you say you don't get that for 3-MMC, I think you're really lucky because most people I talk to have these like dips or side effects from taking 3-MMC. But I mean, there's also a lot of just like studies on this, and synthetic cathinones in any form are just neurotoxic. Just point blank, they're neurotoxic. So I would say, yeah, this is probably the... it could also be social problems, but honestly, that comes later when you're already binging it, etc. Like most people, when they just try 3-MMC the first time, it's not really like a big social problem, I would say. Okay, caffeine. Okay, this is actually interesting because on the one hand, you would say all these other categories just don't make sense. It's probably just too expensive, but I would also maybe say caffeine can be pretty addictive for a lot of people. Like, how many people do you know that say they cannot function without caffeine? If that is not like an admission of like kind of an addiction, I don't know. But the thing is, a lot of people can stop with caffeine if they want to. So I would say just put it in too expensive. Like, a lot of people are just saying like, oh yeah, coffee just cost me too much money in life in general. So I would say, yeah, it's not that addictive probably. Okay, the next one is weed. And yeah, I mean, okay, listen, this is going to be very nuanced, so don't flame me for this right out the gate. Really listen to my argument here. So yes, I know a lot of people have problems with weed. I'm not saying weed is some miracle drug that you can't get addicted to. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. I know a lot of people have had trouble with weed. I know a lot of people who've been addicted to weed. Maybe I'm addicted to weed. Who knows? But the point is, it doesn't impede my life in any way, except for the fact that it is kind of expensive. Like, that is the reason why that's why I tried to reduce my weed tolerance last week, because I kind of started dabbing and that really upped my tolerance, and that really caused my wallet to cry. It was like, you're spending too much on weed. So for me personally, it's just too expensive. Now, I understand that many people will have, for example, addiction problems with weed. I don't personally. Like, if I can stop cold turkey with weed and just like don't do weed for a month, and I don't have any side effects or any cravings or whatever. So that's not the problem for me. Mental harm can also happen on weed. For example, a lot of people just smoke very high THC strains without any CBD. That has been proven time and time again to be really bad for your mental health. But again, that's not what I'm doing. I'm a big indica guy. I curate my strains based on the fact that they have a lot of CBD and CBG, etc. in them. So that's also not really applicable to me. So for me personally, it's too expensive. Again, listen to the other categories if that applies to you. Just mentally think that I put them in that category for you. But for me, it's just too expensive. Okay, let's go into ketamine. Okay, this is interesting. I would say, look, again, this is the way I'm doing ketamine. Like, it's not very addictive, especially physically. Like, mentally, definitely you can get addicted to ketamine, but physically, I've never had any kind of physical sign of ketamine addiction. It's also not very neurotoxic or bodily harm when it comes to the doses and the frequency that I do. I don't binge, I don't do grams. Basically, if I get a gram of ketamine, I'll probably take a month for me to finish that gram. Mental harm, also in my case, never experienced any kind of negative mental issues from that ketamine. So I would say for me, probably it's a little bit too expensive. Like, again, you can have all these different things on ketamine. I'm not saying there's not people that have these problems, but for me, these are all just not problems I experienced with ketamine. It's just pretty expensive, like 25 to 30 euros for a gram. It's on the high side, honestly. That's also why I like 2-FDCK, because a gram of 2-FDCK is just 15 euros. So that's also why you would think probably 2-FDCK is too expensive, but it isn't really expensive. I would say probably this is really difficult because I don't really experience any of these on 2-FDCK. Yeah, this is hard. I mean, if it doesn't fit in any category, I'm probably going to just put it into expensive. Like, it's kind of the backup category, honestly. I don't know. Okay, MDMA. This is going to be pretty. This is actually, like, I'm not saying MDMA is going to harm you if you just want to try it one time. I'm not going to say MDMA is going to cause mental harms, obviously. It's also not extremely addictive, I think. Like, I never really had an MDMA craving in my life. Even though I did it like a lot a certain period in my life, I never really had a craving for it. It was just a substance that we had, and we just wanted to do something fun, so MDMA was there, and we took it. But I would say MDMA is probably going to the biggest reason is probably going to be bodily harm, neurotoxicity. Like, I have learned to take MDMA in really safe doses, so like below 100 milligrams. But let's say you're like a general person who just takes an MDMA pill. Here in the Netherlands, that shit is so fucking overpowered. Like, most pills here are plus 200 milligram. That's definitely going to be neurotoxic. That's definitely going to harm your body. I mean, there's a lot of debate about MDMA being neurotoxic, and I kind of believe it, but it really is dose dependent. I'm 100% sure of that. Like, a very small dose of MDMA is probably not going to be very neurotoxic. There's just not enough dopamine stimulation for that. But if you look at like the doses a lot of people are taking, it's pretty neurotoxic dose, I would say. Okay, let's say nitrous oxide. I think it's gonna be probably neurotoxicity. Like, the way people are doing nitrous is just huffing and huffing and huffing until brain cells die and they're hospitalized. So I'm not saying nitrous oxide will have bodily harm for you if you do it once. I've tried nitrous oxide a few times. It was fun. Nothing bad happened, but I just did 1 or 2 balloons. That's it. No binging. So if you binge nitrous oxide, it's going to be really, really bad for your body. Okay, acid. Honestly, I would, on the one hand, I would say mental harm, because you can have a really bad traumatizing trip on psychedelics, but it's also really expensive. Like, even on the designer drug websites, 150 microgram tab costs you like 4 or 5 euros. I mean, for a trip, that's not much, but I mean, come on. You're making it in masses, you're selling it legally. Come on, do like $1 or $2 or €1 a pop. But anyways, what is the biggest reason not to do it? It will still probably be mental harm. Like the reason why I didn't do much psychedelics the last few years was because I was kind of scared for a bad trip. And I've been doing a bunch of psychedelics the last few weeks. Not like very high doses, more like small, moderate doses, but like mixing them. And honestly, yeah, I'm not that scared anymore. It seems like for me personally, in my pharmacology, like classic psychedelics just work really well and don't have much drawbacks. Again, not taking very high doses, keep that in mind. But yeah, there's still a chance that you will have a bad trip. I'm not saying a bad trip is definitely bad for your mental health, but there are people who have had bad experience with psychedelics and have had like PTSD, traumas, etc., etc. Not saying that's gonna happen, but that is the major reason probably. So I would say shrooms, same thing. The highest chance of something happening is probably mental harm. Again, 2CB, kind of the same thing. 2CC is also gonna be there. Although, yeah, no, actually that's kind of true. So codeine is probably going to be just too expensive. Like it's not good for you. That's not what I'm saying. But it's not that harmful in like normal doses, I would say. For me, it was also not extremely addictive. I know a lot of people get addicted to these kinds of opioids very quickly, but not really me. I feel like a lot of people around me that tried codeine never really had like a problem with it. But it's extremely expensive, like especially in the Netherlands where we don't have the pharmaceutical companies that actually produce like the codeine that we want. Yeah, it's really expensive. Okay, so let's do tobacco. I would say with tobacco, it's either going to be too addictive or it's going to do bodily harm. But I would say the addiction leads to bodily harm, but the bodily harm doesn't lead to addiction. So I would say it's just probably too bad for your body and especially for your lungs. But yeah, but the thing is, it's also reversible, but so is addiction. So yeah, I don't know, I'll just put it here, but it could also be in addictiveness. Okay, DCK, I would say, yeah, this is a fun thing. We don't put anything in social problems or legal trouble, which is kind of interesting to see. But yeah, I did put that category there because I thought maybe something would be put in here. But yeah, I would say it's probably just, again, too expensive because all the other categories don't really fit that well. DSMT. I would say it's either going to be one of these two. It's not very neurotoxic and it doesn't have a lot of bodily harm on the doses that I use. It's like very minor. It's also not very addictive. I've never really had a craving for it, but I understand that a lot of people have cravings for opioids, although probably not that crazy for DSMT. Yeah, I'm probably just going to put it into addictive because of the opioid quality, but like it can have a very bad negative effect on your body if you do it too much. But a single DSMT use, I would say it's not very neurotoxic. So I'll just put it there. Okay, dextroamphetamine. This is interesting. I would say this is also quite difficult. Like it's pretty addictive for many people, but not for me personally. It does have some bodily harm, but again, that only, like, I don't think it's that bad when it's just like therapeutic doses. It does have mental harm, I think, but again, there's a lot of people using it therapeutically and they're not fucking up mentally. So social problems also not really, maybe because maybe just that is difficult. I'm just probably gonna say it is too addictive. But yeah, not really too sure about that one. Same with Ritalin, although they're not really that addictive. Well, at least not for me. Maybe for upper people or like people who like uppers, that could be like maybe very addictive. But I just don't like uppers, so that's why I never really got into it. Poppers, I would say it's not very good for your body to inhale a bunch of like chemicals. I would say it's mostly like bodily harm. Okay, and then the last one, tramadol. I would say tramadol is again too addictive. Like I know a lot of people in the Netherlands who get prescribed tramadol for pain and then basically they get addicted to tramadol, like because of its opioid properties mainly. It's probably also not very good for the body, but again, these people are not taking extremely high doses. It's more like therapeutic dose, but still in like an addictive way. You know what is really interesting is to see that societal problems and legal trouble were not like the two main, like no drug has its main problem of those two. It's very interesting. I mean, if you were in the United States, maybe this would be something like, or like some of these things could be this. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of the situation as it is for me now. So yeah, that it's pretty interesting. It's also really interesting to see that one of my favorite things came up here, but it makes sense because high dose of DXM is pretty bad for you. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to addictiveness, this is like the holy grail, definitely. The benzos, etc. But it's also interesting to see that like a lot of amphetamine class things are also here, and neurotoxicity. It's also funny to see obviously the psychedelics. The main reason not to try them is because there's a chance of having some mental harm. But honestly, all of these very negligible, except for this one, obviously. And yes, I acknowledge that there's other problems with these, but for me, those are just like, they're just more expensive than that other problems are the problem, basically. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.